1960 Ford Country Squire, made by Model Car Group in 1/18 scale. This is an awesome car. I stepped outside some of my brands that I've been buying. Wanted to try these out for a long time. This brand, it's come to our shores recently, probably the past few years, but it's a fairly new company. It's based out of Europe. I think it's German, but they make the cars in Bangladesh, so it's not Chinese. And this car has some similarities with the green lights, and we'll go over that, but I'm just excited to share it with everybody. It's a car that doesn't get a lot of attention in the diecast world, but closed body car, and it's just like a Greenlight Artisan closed body diecast. It's not one of those resin models, so the price is a little bit better, go figure. And metal axle car, so where they save on that, they bring it in the detail. So detail of the body is really excellent. Tires are a little big, but with the big white walls and everything, it looks okay. It's almost like you can consider it like if someone resto modded the car, because basically these tires look like a modern tire on this car. And the back spacing is it looks nice, but in actuality those tires probably would have been tucked under the fenders a little bit more, I'd say. But other than that, the body's really good. And 1960, so it's a new body for Ford. They got rid of that 59 car, which is off of a different chassis. This was an updated car. Ford was changing for 60. The fins are completely sideways on this car on the back, and Model Car Group got the body proportions good. Namely, when we look at the roof from above, you'll see that the car tapers from here back to the fin. So I thought that was really cool. So they even showed that. I thought that was special. So chrome is painted silver on the body trim. Bumpers are separate and they are chromed. The wheel covers are pretty darn accurate too. They look very close to the originals. Like I said, throws it off is the ties to the tire, and really maybe not the diameter so much, but the width is like double what the factory was back then. This is done in like a green poly, meaning that it's got a metallic in it, but it's not heavy, so the flake is very appropriate. And the faux wood paneling on the side of the car is done excellent as well. There is depth to it. The center part, the darker part with the striping, that's a separate molded plastic piece, and then this part here is the die cast. So this car was stripped of paint. This would be a part of the die cast body as well. So all that lighter trim surround, and then this is the plastic insert. It does have separate door handles, which look really good. And also the way the doors come off of the where they fall off the pillars, the width is really excellent. They also did the asymmetrical rear view mirrors. There's a lot of good stuff on this car. Reason I got it too, because Model Car Group does a black, a dark red, and this green one. I love green. If everybody watches the channel, I love the green cars. And this one that was on sale, it's a crazy price. There is this car. eBay is actually higher on this car, so the importer here that has a home company based in Europe, they opened a branch here in the States. Website is called AmericanExcellence.com, something like that. Just type in that plus model cars, Google search, and you'll see them come up. Good pricing. They also import the BOS models, best of show. Like that's an Asian company. I think that's Chinese or something like that. And that company also does these cars, but more expensive, and they're in resin. But same thing, like metal axle car, sort of, and then it has closed body and all that. But the detail, they put the detail in the vehicle itself. So if you just want to look at the car and enjoy just really good body lines, this car is pretty good. Headlights are a little dark, but they are separate lenses, and the grill is really very good. So is the curvature on the bumper. The car is done very well, I'd say. We'll see. If anybody likes these cars, you can look at them and tell me if you notice anything. But the 1964, like I said, was a new car, and it was such a good body style. This car in a two-door hardtop car is amazing as well, because it was like the bubble top Chevys. Ford and Chevrolet, and they knew that those light tops, really thin top pillars, and a floating top, as they would call it sometimes, that was very, in style. Fortunately, I had to get pulled away from a little bit because they weren't the strongest roofs, but they looked darn good, didn't they? And really, I really think, unlike the Chevy, the Country Squire car and its sister, the Colony Park, because Mercury had one too, they're using these really good roof lines, really clean. For a time period, American designing, when everything was very ornate, the 60s ushered in that mid-century modern kind of simplistic lines. So they were really trying to get away from that look from the 50s, but the 60 Ford is such a great car in all its generations, all of its body styles, the 4-door, the 2-door, convertible. They're just great cars. This has a flat base, and we'll look at it, but you can see it has the separate lenses for the taillights, and then the dual exhaust is shown, which I thought was really cool. So that was really nice. But you can see the detail on the fins. Looks good. And of course, just like the door panels, you can see that it's separate. So the hatch or the trunk or whatever, lift gate handle is separate. So I thought that was nice. Country Squires right there, tampoed on. It's got a little paint run from the silver paint, so that comes right up with acetone, but didn't really want to do anything to the car, so you could see how that comes from the box. Minimal flaws, I'd say. Going on the driver's side. Car roll's good, by the way, which is something I look for in my models most of the time. If they present themselves with wheels, definitely like to see them move. So, nice looking car. Stance is good, I'd say. Maybe a little high. I wouldn't say it's too low, but maybe it's a little high. You can see the curvature of the body is done pretty good. And here's the base. Pretty flat. But you got to look at it. You got to see what you're getting. This is what it is. Some people hate it. Some people don't care. It is what it is. But I don't mind it. The car is so nice. And this is really a subject that isn't done, really, with the mass market companies. So I thought it was awesome. Look at that interior. Dark green. All the windows are sealed. Really can't hold it by that. The windows are kind of delicate, so try to hold it from the side of the car. So you can see the two-tone interior. Country Squire from this trim, because, they had the base, the one with the wood trim and all that. These were the ones that were pretty optioned out. So this was pretty heavy-duty car back in its day. So engines, you can get inline 6, but on this trim, they had a lot of V8s. They had, I think, 3 or 4 of them. We had what do we have here? 292, and also a 352 in 1960. And you had optional intakes. You had 2-barrel and a 4-barrel. 4-barrel in 1960, it said, made 300 horsepower. So incredible. And you could get a 3-speed manual. And then probably in this type of trim, you have a 4-speed manual or a 3-speed automatic. So that'd be nice to have a floor shifter on that car, 4-speed. That'd be pretty nice. Also, I thought was interesting in the spec sheet on this car, it shared the brakes with the Ford half-ton truck. So we had your 11-inch drums all the way around on this car. So that's good stopping. They were known to tow things back then with their passenger and wagon cars. So These definitely mimic their trucks counterparts sometimes. That is the Ford Country Squire model car group. I say recommend at the price point it's at right now. Go check it out. I'd say recommend this one. It definitely adds some spice to the collection. Love it. Also continues my collection of wagons. I really don't care what scale they are. I love them. 1960 Ford Country Squire. Here's the box. Comes in a box just like Greenlight. And the other thing about this, we'll take a look real quick. I was saying it was like Greenlight. I think they share the same mold for their tires. I did compare this tire to the Biscayne that I have and the Ford truck that I just got. Same tire, tread pattern, size, shoulder. Everything's the same. Obviously, it's been tampered with the white walls, but it is the same tire. So probably they share stuff, I'm sure. Who knows? This is pretty cool. Look at this box. This is like a window box from First Gear. And here's the information on it. So it gets tied down there with the wire ties. Goes through the floor of the chassis. So it is in German, but it's made in Bangladesh. And it says, look at this. Ornamental model for the adult collector, not suitable for children under 14. Whatever. This would be great in anybody's collection. You take off all the sharp edges, let the kid play with it. This thing would be running out. Wow, that would leave an impression on some kid, wouldn't it? So anyway, 1964 Country Squire. I digress. What a great car. Highly recommend it. Hope everybody enjoyed the video. Till next time.